Hello everyone, it's Meg and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my BookTubeAthon 2018 TBR. I've only known about BookTube for a couple of years and I was first introduced to the BookTubeAthon last year. I discovered it last year and I watched loads of people's videos who did daily vlogs for it and watched all their challenges, and it looked like so much fun and I really wanted to have a go at it, but I thought, oh, I can't do that, I don't read enough, I don't have a BookTube channel. But obviously that is nonsense. You don't have to have a BookTube channel, you don't have to be a super fast reader to be able to do this. So basically I decided that I'm going to do it this year regardless of the fact that I have a channel, and I am really excited to be taking part. And I do have 7 books, but I'm definitely not going to reach it. I think the fastest I've ever read a book in is maybe a couple of days, a bit less than a week, something like that. So it's going to be a challenge, but quite a few of the books that I have chosen are relatively short, so hopefully I will at least get through around 2 books. I'm expecting to get through maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4, but most of these books are short, so hopefully I will get through a couple of them. If you are interested in checking the BookTubeAthon out, I will leave the link to the channel down below, and I was really excited when Ariel announced the categories. So without further ado, let me show you guys what I am hopefully going to be reading for this year's BookTubeAthon. There are 7 reading challenges that are set every year because it runs throughout a whole week, 7 days. So the first challenge is to flip a coin to decide your first read. And I'm actually going to show you guys the books for this last, and we're going to do this challenge last because I want to show you all the other books first, and we're supposed to flip a coin and decide which book we're going to read first on screen. So we're going to do that challenge last. The second challenge is to read a book about something that you want to do. And I don't have this book physically with me at the moment, but I have ordered it and it is on its way and I'm so excited to read it. I have chosen Final Draft by Riley Redgate. Now, I only discovered this book, I think Emma from Emma Books had it in a haul. I heard her description of it and I had to have this book. So all I know about this book is it's about a girl who wants to be a writer, and she sets all these challenges for herself to kind of prove herself worthy of being a writer, and that's all I needed to know, that's all I want to know, and I'm just so excited to read this book. But I've chosen this book because I want to be a writer. Specifically, I want to be a poet. I know that the girl in this story wants to be a novelist, but I personally want to be a poet. But it's something that I want to, obviously it's still kind of under the same thing, I still want to write. So I'm just so excited to get into this book, and I honestly, oh my god, I cannot wait. I'm just so excited. Third challenge is to read a book and then watch the adaptation afterwards. Now, I did have a long think. I actually struggled to decide on which one to do because technically I could have done one that I have already read before or in a film that I'd already seen, but I wanted to do one that I haven't seen or read before. This is another book that I've purchased it yesterday, so it will be here in time for the BookTubeAthon, and that is Little Prince by, I'm going to try and pronounce the author's name, Antoni de Saint-Exupéry. I'm butchered that so badly. I do apologise. I should have kind of looked it up before, but I absolutely butchered that. The main thing for me with this challenge was trying to find a film that I had access to, whether it was on Netflix or maybe I had a DVD of it, and this is probably the only one that I have that this film is on Netflix, and I have actually been wanting to watch it for a while, so I thought, why not read the book and then watch the film afterwards. It seems like a really lovely and heartwarming and just cute film. It might be quite sad as well, but I'm just really excited to read it, and it's a children's book, so I'd like to think it's pretty short, so I'm going to get through it rather quickly. The fourth challenge is to read a book that has green on the cover. And I was going to go with another book, but I decided, for the factor that I'm not a very fast reader and I want to accomplish as many challenges as possible, I'm going to double up on this challenge, and I again am going to choose Final Draft by Riley Redgate. You can't actually see if there's a picture up here, hopefully you can see, I'm out of focus, but there is actually green in the draft. I've got it up on my laptop here. There's like the word draft actually has green lining on it. If you look closely you can see, but it has green on it, so I am doubling up and also using this book as my fourth challenge as well. The fifth challenge is to read a book whilst wearing the same hat all the time. And the book that I've chosen for this is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I am so bad with names, like I'm butchering this very badly. I apologise in advance. I think this is kind of one of those ones where it's changed quite a lot of people's lives and it's quite philosophical and all that sort of thing. It's less than 200 pages. Yeah, it's like 170 something pages, so it's fairly short, so hopefully I will get through it fairly quick. And the hat that I'm going to be wearing is my lovely hat from Primark. £7 this cost me, £7. It's like a wide brimmed hat. I can't remember what they're called. They're like, do you know the ones where people take loads of nice pictures on Instagram and they have these sort of hats, but usually people have them in tan, but tan won't suit me because I'm so pale, so I got a black one instead and I love it. The sixth challenge is to read a book with a beautiful spine, and I really struggled with this challenge, and technically I don't actually have a book for it. The only book that I might be able to use for this is Final Draft again. I don't know what the spine looks like, but I will find out when it gets here, but I'm probably not going to complete that challenge because I couldn't find a book, and yeah, all the books on my shelf with beautiful spines I've already read, and I've read fairly recently, so I didn't want to reread them. So, but that's okay for the time being, I'm probably going to also include Final Draft for this sixth challenge, but I guess it's probably going to have a beautiful spine because it looks like a beautiful book, so I am also going to count Final Draft as that for the time being. And of course the seventh challenge is to read 7 books. This is like I'm very new to BookTubeAthon and BookTube in general, but I know that this is the challenge that's always set every year, and some people accomplish it, some people don't. At the end of the day it doesn't matter because this is a celebration for reading. But I do have some more books, the other books that complete my 7 that I will be hoping to get to for this readathon. First of all, I have To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I read her summer series. I have her summer series on my shelf. You probably can't see it because it's behind me, and I absolutely loved it. And I must admit, I wasn't very keen on picking this up, it just didn't appeal to me, but I found this really cheap in a bric-a-brac shop, so I thought I might as well get it and see what all the hype is about. And this is probably the longest book that I have in here. When I picked it up, I thought, oh, I could read that because it's nice contemporary. It's like over 400 pages, or just over 400 at any rate, so if I do get to this one I'm probably not going to finish it, but I am actually most likely going to pick this up after reading the book that I'm currently reading, so I'll probably get a bit of a head start at any rate. So yeah, hopefully I can get to it and see what all the hype is about. The next book is a reread for me. It's the first book in a series, and that is I Tell You I'd Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Ali Carter. This is the first book in the Gallagher Girls series. I think there's 6 books, and this, well, technically it still is, even though I haven't read it in ages, one of my absolutely all-time favourite series. It's about spy school and it's awesome, and I started reading this when I was around 14 or something like that, and I haven't reread it in absolutely ages, so I thought it's probably a good chance to start rereading it, and also because I've already read it once before, hopefully it would not take me too long to get through it. The last two books I have are poetry books, and the first one is 1,000 Mornings by Mary Oliver. Technically, I could count this as the challenge for read a book with green on the cover because it's got a green landscape, but like I said, I want to complete as many challenges as possible, so I doubled up with Final Draft. But I got this for my birthday off my mum, which was lovely, and I've read Blue Horses by Mary Oliver in the same kind of design as this book, and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with her writing. It's so idyllic, and I know lovely is probably not the best descriptive word, but it is lovely, you know. It's very nature-based, and I love poetry that's very nature-based, and the way she writes about it, and the relationships, I love it, okay? So I'm adding this to my pile for my TBR for this challenge, and like I said, it's a poetry collection, it's not very short, it's about 70 something pages, so hopefully I will get through this very quickly as well. And the final book that I have for my 2018 BookTubeAthon TBR is Letters to a Young Poet by, I'm going to absolutely butcher this again, so I apologise in advance, is Rainer Maria Rilke. I absolutely butchered that. I am so sorry. Like, I apologise very deeply. I am obviously not very good with words, and saying that from someone who actually wants to be a writer. This is one of these penguin little black classics. They're like £1 to £2 depending which ones you get. And basically this is just a little booklet of letters that this poet wrote to a young inspiring writer, and as you can see I have already started it. I'm just under halfway through, but for some reason I put it down and I haven't picked it up again, and it's really short. It's like 50 something, it's 51 pages, and I'm currently on page 23. So this is another one that I'd like to think I'm going to get through fairly quickly. So now we have to do the flip a coin to decide our first book, and first of all I actually need to go and find a coin. So bear with me a second. The question is, do I actually have change? So which books shall we choose? So I think I'm going to decide between The Alchemist and Final Draft. Obviously I don't have it with me, so I think I will do Final Draft as heads and The Alchemist as tails. So I got my pound coin right here, and we're going to attempt to flip it, and hopefully I'm not going to drop it. I really hope I don't. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh! Fail! That was actually a really good flip, I just didn't catch it. Shall we try again? 1, 2, 3. And it is tails! Oh, my voice went then. So I'm going to be reading The Alchemist as my first book for this year's BookTubeAthon 2018. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I'm going to be reading for this year's BookTubeAthon. Let me know in the comments down below if you are also going to be joining in. I am going to hopefully attempt doing some daily vlogs. They may be a couple of days mashed together. Because I honestly have my life isn't very exciting, and I am working as well, so I'm not going to have absolutely masses of time to read, and I'm going to maybe do some Instagram challenges, and because I actually haven't started my Instagram. I've got an Instagram for my booktube, but I haven't actually done anything with it yet. And then I may do some of the video challenges, I'm not entirely sure, but I will definitely try and do some daily reading vlogs to update you guys on my reading progress. And also, if you don't want to watch those, I will have my Goodreads links down below as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you again very soon definitely before the BookTube-A-Thon starts, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!